What you looking for around here?
You. Haha. There you are. Stray Dog here on this beautiful fall afternoon. I hope this day finds you well. Today we are standing in a place that is not only historic, but also has the reputation for being the most haunted place in the town of Bristol, Tennessee, and half of it actually lies in the state of Virginia. So, where is this magical place? Say hello to the haunted and historic East Hill Cemetery. Let's go! The actual beginnings of the cemetery starts right here in February of 1857. The first burial up here on the hill was this child, Nellie Gaines. And later on there were two more children buried up here on the hill, and thus began the ghost stories. As people reported as they walked by East Hill, they could hear children laughing and playing up here on the hill. Right behind me is the grave of Revolutionary War General Evan Shelby, and he has the distinction of being buried 3 times, once in town and twice up here on East Hill. We're standing here now in the slave section of East Hill Cemetery. There's a gentleman buried here by the name of Cy Goodson who died in 1862, and at the time of his death he was the oldest man in the world at 132 years old. That's what history says. We're standing up here on the Confederate section of East Hill, and I don't know if you can hear it or not. There's a train rumbling in the background. The train station's just out of sight over the hill. During the Civil War, a lot of soldiers come through there, and also there was a Civil War hospital down there. A lot of soldiers that died in that hospital were buried up here on East Hill, and also there was a section that they buried a lot of the amputated arms and legs, and it was very shallow, and history says that back in the day it was nothing to see a dog wandering through town carrying an arm or a leg that it had unearthed up here in the shallow section of East Hill. I actually caught a glimpse of a rather large white dog just over the hill behind us going into the woods, and there's not any stories about ghost dogs up here on the hill, so I don't guess we have anything to worry about. We did not see a ghost. You recognize this last name? This is actually the parents of the fella who the soft drink Dr. Pepper was named after, and they had a house just a little ways over the hill from where we're standing. A story was told to me by a local historian that if you notice that area just to the left of that big tree that is to your right, that empty space where there doesn't appear to be anything in there, there is actually over 1,000 people buried in a mass grave down along here. Apparently there was an epidemic of disease that came through and took its toll on a lot of people, and they were just all buried here in the lower part of East Hill Cemetery, and there is no markers of any kind or anything to designate that, and I can't really find anything else in history to say if that's true or not. But I don't really know why that fellow would lie to me. He seems to know a lot about this place, so that's one of the probably lesser known facts of East Hill Cemetery. Just in these woods behind me, there's a rather large homeless camp, and they were watching what I was doing just a little bit earlier, so apparently they are fans of the Stray Dog vlog. So there's 2 more, so now I've got 4 followers. Thanks. This fella has the distinction of having the largest monument in East Hill Cemetery. This is an absolutely fascinating story, and if you would like to read it and learn about it, please Google John W. Emmert and the Bat Creek Stone. Back in March of 1907, a fellow by the name of Ack Hale came into town and told police that there was a young lady up in East Hill Cemetery that needed help. And he stayed behind to talk with police, and police came up to investigate. When police arrived, they did find a young lady named Lily Davis here with a pistol by her side and a flask of whiskey, and she was unconscious and had been shot. They took her back to the Bristol, Virginia courthouse, and later that night she died. One version of the story that I read said that Hale initially told police that he did not know the young lady that was shot here in the cemetery, but as the investigation progressed, it was discovered that Mr. Hale actually had a relationship with the girl, and she was engaged to someone else and was going to be married within just a few weeks. Now, Hale claimed that he brought her here to break off the relationship, and she became so upset that she grabbed his pistol and ended her life before he could stop her. But she was engaged to be married to a rather wealthy man up in Virginia, and all of her kinfolk said that she was very happy at the time, actually had made invitations and everything for the wedding, and she was actually buried in her wedding dress on what was to be her wedding day. Now, the Davises actually fled nearby Johnson City, Tennessee, and came to Bristol because they were afraid of the Hales. History says that Ack's brother actually shot and killed the brother of Lily Davis before the whole incident occurred right here in East Hill. So it sounds like the Hales were a mean bunch of people. As a matter of fact, there were several witnesses that were around the area that reported seeing Mr. Hale with the young lady in a horse and carriage that they had rented, and they stopped over here just outside the cemetery, and he was forcing her to drink whiskey, and he was being very rough with her, and it was reported that she said, "I don't want to go in the cemetery because if I do, I won't come out alive." And there were two sets of tracks from the road up to a large tree, and this is where the young lady by the name of Lily Davis was shot. It actually took 2 trials to convict Hale for the murder of Lily Davis. The first was a hung jury. The second, he was convicted and sentenced to 99 years in the state penitentiary down in Nashville. But in 1915, it is reported that he did escape and was never heard from again. And they were going by census records saying that he either changed his name, which was probably a good idea if you're doing 99 years in the state penitentiary for murder, or Hale died or was killed right after he escaped. So, did he get away with it? I have the distinct honor of taking photographs for a group that raises money to maintain and decorate the graves of the Civil War veterans over here in East Hill. And they raise funds by having a ghost walk every year around Halloween, and that's coming up. And it's a very respectful thing. It takes place here in the cemetery, and it is not people running around with chainsaws and things like that. They have reenactors come out who are dressed to the period, and as you tour the cemetery, they will come out and tell a story about who they are or who they're representing in history and the life of that person and where that person is buried here in East Hill. And it was 2 days last year. I think it's 2 days this year, 28th and 29th, I think. So if you're local, come out here and support this group and take a tour of the cemetery. It happens at night. It's not scary. It's historic. It's educational. And a lot of kids out here, and it takes about 45 minutes to an hour to take the tour. You go all the way around the cemetery, and you'll meet the people, the reenactors, and they'll tell their story. And it's really something to see. And hopefully I will get to take photos this year, and I will maybe even get to do a stray dog vlog from here in just a couple of weeks as they do the ghost walk here at East Hill Cemetery. If you're local, you need to check this out. Last week I did a haunted dog vlog about Virginia Intermont College, and I don't know if you can see it or not. If you look way out beyond those trees glistening in the evening sun, that is Virginia Intermont College. As we tour around the cemetery, I think it's only appropriate that our friend Ryan Kendrick sets a little mood music with his guitar. Thanks for joining me for the Stray Dog Vlog today, the Haunted Dog edition of the Stray Dog Vlog. As always, don't forget to go over to my Facebook page and check out some photos over there. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. I appreciate that. Got a lot of neat things coming up. Just got to get it all in order and get it videoed and get it posted. So stay tuned for that, and I thank you for your support. So until next time, from me to you, I say, dog out.